Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to YouTube. It's been a while. As with most things, life is still going on. Still trying to make ends meet with my business. I feel like just beginning to put my head above water. So I've made some quite bold decisions this year. And that reflects on my bodybuilding calendar, my potential shows for this year, because at the back end of last season, as you probably might I don't know if I mentioned it, but I was thinking, right, retire, no more shows. But I think it was more about the fact that I was disappointed with my showing, but also the level of investment I put in, and considering I'm trying to run a business, it was just like, something's got to give. And I've really just focused on two things really this winter: getting stronger, working on my weak points, and just concentrating on my business and reducing my outgoings, so that I can actually then start to enjoy coming into this part of the year. So I'm ready. I'm just having my pre-workout, and I'm heading off to Muscle and Mind for a pull session. And I've got my calendar pretty much sorted now. I've been in prep for, well, it started back in April, so I've been in prep for some time. However, I had 4 weeks where I came out of prep, and that was that kind of indecision, if you like, about whether I go all in. And at the back of my mind was like, on my business, I need to, as soon as I go into prep, everything else falls apart. So it was getting that balance, and that's the real tricky part sometimes, because when you're on prep, for me, I just get tunnel visioned and things slip off the edge. So not a good move. And also tendencies, you should really have a break, get a good year of building, and then go back. But I'm no spring chicken anymore. I do love competing, and I do what I want. I make my own decisions and do it my way. I've had coaches, all been great, but I'm very much my own person. So I'm a lot harder on myself when I coach myself. Whether that's a good thing, I don't know. Sometimes I go over diet, come in soft, stringy, all these things. But for me, it's all about the off season, in terms of putting some tissue on, trying to get stronger, build, and then see what comes out of that when you go into your prep, and giving myself lots of time. So the first show really will be a warm-up show, just to get back on stage. Each show I've got, and potentially could be 4, probably 2. The only one of those 4 is potentially on a Saturday, which conflicts with my business because I run a clinic on a Saturday. And if I miss the clinic, obviously I'm not setting my clients, but I lose money as well. So that will be a decision I need to make based upon my showing in that first show. If I feel I'm competitive and I will do some justice, then maybe. But my mind's eye is 2 shows, and they're both local, and they're both on a Sunday. So I'm not spending lots of money traveling overnight and all that sort of stuff. Also, I'm having holiday with my children. So it's that balance, even in the middle of my prep, 4 weeks out for my first show, but that's fine. Really looking forward to that. So that's all booked up. And I think, you learn that bodybuilding shows is very judgmental, isn't it? You're at the mercy of the judges. You have expectations with yourself. Last year, it was very much outcome focused. There was a lot of anxiety around getting on stage again after my ban for the natural shows, and it was just getting up there. But you know, the showing I gave was disappointing, and I placed so much expectation. So for me now, it's like, well, very much like my business card, you don't get older, you get better. You know, I'm sort of trying to follow that, well, I'm, you know, by staying in shape purely for the fact that I can, or I will try. And this is an ongoing life thing now. It's not just, oh, it's just competition. Yeah, fine. It's just for that look. It's my whole ethos. It's my whole belief about everything, which has always been there, but it's kind of even more sharp now about how I treat competition. It is there for the benefit of my clients as well, to say that, you know, I'm trying to get you in shape. I'm obviously practicing what I preach, which I have done for the last 7-8 years in terms of competition. But now it's like, can I extend that? The older I get, can I get better? And that's the challenge I've set myself. It's not about winning first place trophies. It's not about the trophies anymore. It's about, can I get up there and keep putting in a really good performance to satisfy myself, but also as an inspiration to others, to say, you know, I'm a baby when it comes to some of these guys now in their 60s, early 70s that are still getting up there. You know, they're still putting in the work. They're still getting in fantastic shape. You know, the sacrifices you need to make, let's be honest, is pretty severe. But I posted something recently about Sylvester Stallone. You know, he's 79, and he said one of the biggest things is about challenging and pushing yourself even when you ache and things hurt, because the older we get, you start to feel your body more. I had my illness 18 months ago. I had sepsis. Things don't work as well as they used to. I've got a kidney stone, which I'm waiting to pass. They're all things that build up. Now, I could either just throw the towel in and go, well, I can't do that anymore. I can't compete. You know, my body can't respond like it used to. And I refuse to. I might as well put me in a box. You know, and I think that's the message I send to all my clients. I work with clients who literally just get their body moving. They may be in the 60s or the 70s, but just by doing some regular exercise, how they feel. Now, obviously, I'm taking it to the extreme by going on stage and being ogled at a few hundred people, half naked. You know, you don't have to get to that point. But do you see where my mindset is? It's like I'm striving to be the best I can be and kind of lead my clients into believing what anything is possible, even if it's like, I've got a client who's got osteogenesis. You know, he's broken every bone in his body. He's got brittle bones. He's collapsed ankle. You know, he's got a lot of things against him, but we're kind of determined to slow down that aging process. We don't want to be in a mobility scooter. You know, he's determined he wants to walk, even though it's very difficult for him. You know, and it's just like, even for myself, I've started to realize with the crystallization effect of calcification in my stomach, with the kidney stone, it's affecting my joints. So things like, I know this is going to sound really bad, but I probably got gout in my big toe. I thought it was a bunion. It's probably a bit of both, because obviously I do a lot of walking, and I've had problems over the last 6-8 months, and that's as a result of crystallized joints. Now, obviously, I need to return to the hospital in the winter, have my bloods done and my kidneys checked, because it's important. I did that earlier. Everything is fine, but obviously it's a case of the stone is not big enough to do anything radical. They said just let it pass in its own time, but it has an effect physiologically on my body. So doing something like this competition takes some extreme dieting. You know, some of the practices are not healthy. But what do? Do you say to yourself, well, okay, can't do it then? But then you see people who do phenomenal things. This is not phenomenal to me. This is, I think, some people who climb Mount Everest with no legs, or they finish a marathon. They do a marathon at the age of 85. That's, for me, they're things that are just a feat. For me, this is not that significant. But can you see my point of view? If I just say, right, well, okay, I can't do this anymore. Another example as well, I've come across guys who, when they do the over 50s, have had strokes, major heart attacks, things that have happened, and they're still getting on stage, which is incredible. It's inspiring to think that, yeah, it's a warrior mentality. That's what I'm trying to say. We're all warriors that go in the gym, who trained hard all my life, and this is it. It's a warrior's mentality. So to get on that stage without sounding corny, you're a winner, because not many people get through to that end point. To have the guts to get on there, I applaud anyone who does. Yeah, if you're in great shape, even better, because then you do well and everyone gets the accolades. Yeah, that's great. But just getting on there, not letting yourself down, not going out of shape, not being, sometimes, okay, there's a point where I've been backstage and some people are just not ready, or they've literally been told by their mates that they're good enough to go on stage, and clearly they haven't prepared, haven't posed, they're already sweating, the tan's already sort of dripping down them. There's poor preparation, which can be embarrassing for the individual and also for the audience and for bodybuilding in general. You can all say, oh yeah, I've done a show, and everyone can have a go at it. I'm not saying you can't. It's a bit like doing a marathon. I did a marathon once and I completed it, but I was walking at the end because I'd hurt my calf. I'm looking at the watch, because the clock, because I'm going to have to go soon. But it's just going to stop you from doing it. And let's say, a guy will go weigh 20 stone and lost 10 stone to go on stage. That's a brilliant feat. But yeah, you understand what I'm saying, I think. So that's what's the plan? Stay local. Yeah, let's see what happens. We've got 9.5 weeks. Yeah, not the movie. 9.5 weeks now to dial in. Now, what I did, I say, step back the last few weeks. I'm back to the body where I was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So I'm like a little bit behind the curve, 3 or 4 weeks behind where I was. But this year I've just literally, in the last few days, just lost 4 or 5 pounds from pure water weight. Now, obviously, you don't want to lose muscle size, so dropping too quick, which I've done in the past, is not good, because you just lose muscle size, definition, you just look soft. And it's not a body loss contest, it's not a weight loss contest. Just try to maximise and retain as much muscle tissue as you can. So training's the same all today, so I'm starting with deadlifts. Obviously, the deeper we go in now, those kind of movements without the stabilizers, as you lose body fat, particularly around sort of the shoulders, back area, less tissue in that upper back, it's going to be more risk. So I won't drop the hip hinge out completely. I'll either go lighter, or I might switch to a Smith, something a bit more stabilized. There's actually, in Charlie's gym, he's got a machine which you can do a pretty decent hip hinge on. So I might revert to that if all goes well. So are we still pushing the numbers, staying as strong as I can, and warrior mentality for sure. Right, so I'll catch up with you later, and in the meantime, stay safe, and happy training.